Hello and welcome to the Horsemanship and Mindset podcast with your host, Kimberly Dunn of Idlewild Horsemanship and Mindset Coaching. This podcast is here to bring you the very best in tips, tricks, and advice to help you better understand yourself, your mindset, and your horse, because your horsemanship starts with you. Let's go. Hello, welcome to another episode of the Horsemanship and Mindset podcast. My name's Kim. I am your host for this episode and every other episode of this podcast. And I am delighted to be here with you today. I hope that this finds you well wherever you are in the world. And let's dive into today's topic, which is competition confidence. So if you follow me on the socials, you will have seen I'm talking about this a lot this week, because we are now, as equestrians, if competing or getting out and about with your horse to clinics or camps, if that's something you like to do, you may now be starting to think about that, because spring is coming, your horses are starting to come back into work. And if you're listening to this and you're in the Southern Hemisphere, or you're now starting to kind of slow down, you may still want to listen to this, because this is going to be relevant to you when competition season does pick up again. Or you might compete throughout your winter. I know there's like a lot of indoor kind of stuff that can go on. Anyway, so let's dive in, because this is quite the thing, competing or getting out and about with your horse, where we want to do it and we used to maybe enjoy it, but now you find yourself, maybe your 5 a.m. alarm clock goes off and you wake up feeling dread. You've got to go plait your horse, or you've got to go bath their tail or do something, get loaded up and get on the road to your competition or your clinic or whatever it is. And you wake up and you feel sick. Maybe you go to the toilet 10,000 times. I know that used to be me. I used to be in and out of that lane before I used to compete. You might be riding around in the warm-up, comparing yourself to everyone else. You might dread the warm-up, because God knows there's always a bit of chaos in the warm-up. You might feel the urge to withdraw. Like, why did I even sign up to come to this thing anyway, before you've even got there? And if that is you, I would like to let you know that you are not getting nervous at these competitions because you're not meant to compete, or it's just not for you. You're getting nervous because your nervous system thinks that you're under threat. Your subconscious is associating competition, or, getting out and about at clinics or camps, with something bad that will hurt you in some way. Now, let's break this down into why we actually get so nervous, because for me, I know for myself and for clients, when you actually understand what's going on and why, it really allows you to zoom out and look at it through a different lens. And then it's so much easier to kind of heal and sort those things out. Okay. So, number one, perceived social threat. So your brain is registering being watched, literally being judged but then by other people, being evaluated and being compared as potential rejection. Okay. And for your mind, rejection equals danger. Okay. Now, taking this back to, that very primal part of our brain, it was really, really important for us back in the day when we lived in tribes, that we weren't rejected, that we were accepted. Because if we were rejected, that would mean being alone, which means danger and death. And so that has carried on with us to now. That part of our brain triggers now and then. And it may well be coming into play when you compete because of all of this, being watched and judged and evaluated and compared. There's that rejection element there. And this might come into play even more for you if you have experienced, yard politics or bullying, maybe past embarrassment. Maybe you had a fall in public. Um, Maybe you've had a really critical instructor or coach or boss or something at some point. Because the thing is, there is your body, so your nervous system and your subconscious mind remember that. You may not be thinking about it every second of every day, but you can bet that your body and your subconscious will be associating things with that and wanting you to avoid it because ultimately that system wants to keep you safe. Fun times. Right, number 2, your identity is on the line, which sounds dramatic, but your body's being dramatic here, isn't it? So it stands to reason that there's a dramatic reason why your identity is on the line. So for many riders or equestrians, you will have this association of, if I ride badly at this competition, this means I am bad. This means I shouldn't be doing this. I'm rubbish. Or it might be something like, if my horse misbehaves, that means I am not good enough. I shouldn't be here. I don't deserve to be here. And then what happens is the competition stops being about a dressage test or a round of show jumping or a reining pattern or whatever it is you compete in. It then starts to become about worth. And that is some really heavy, heavy stuff. That is like, that's tapping into limiting beliefs you have about yourself. It's so interesting. And I really love all this stuff for that, because it's funny how these things pop up in different facets of our life. And ultimately, it comes down to that kind of, I'm waving my hands around here, but it comes down to that underlying belief under the surface of all of that stuff. And that's obviously the work that I do in helping people uncover that. But yeah, it gets quite heavy and quite deep, which again sounds dramatic, but these things are dramatic to your brain, which is why your body is responding so viscerally to this stuff. Number 3, anticipation is worse than reality. So again, here comes the overthinking train. So your brain will rehearse, what if I forget the test? What if I lose my way or forget, where the direction I'm supposed to be heading in? What if I fall off? What if everyone thinks I shouldn't be here? What if everyone's talking about me? What if my horse spooks at this? What if someone does this? Your brain goes around all of those possible scenarios of doom. It never is thinking about the flipping, what if actually we have a really great round? What if actually my horse behaves really well? What if actually everyone says, oh, you did a great job? Your brain doesn't think that, does it? It goes down all the bloody ways that everything can go wrong. And the thing is, your brain, your subconscious mind, your nervous system cannot tell the difference between imagined threat from real threat. And so your body reacts how it thinks is accordingly to keep you safe. It triggers up your survival mechanisms, which is what's making you freeze, which is what's making you forget your test, which is what's making you ride defensively, which is what's making you snappy at whoever is unfortunate enough to be there trying to help you when you're snapping their head off. Which is ironic, because all of those things you're scared of, you're then fooling your nervous system into thinking are actually happening. And so that's making you ride defensively or forget things. And so then you're not successful. And then, as we can see, you go around in that cycle of doom, which is really annoying. So kind of, digging a bit more into how it's affecting us physically, what goes on when, we are in survival mode. You have that shallow breathing, your heart rate goes up. You might be extra grippy with your legs, or you are holding your rein shorter. You're not letting your horse go, so therefore letting your horse actually bloody relax. You're overthinking everything. You might get snappy or easily frustrated with your horse, or, like I said, anyone who's brave enough to be there helping you. You might totally forget the plan that you had. You might totally bin off the plan that you had. You might forget your test. You might forget which way you're meant to be going. You might forget how the flipping heck you're supposed to pick up a left lead. You might do what I used to do. I went through a phase of bloody over in my reining patterns. I used to overspin or underspin or forget how many times I bloody spun. You just totally get in your head in that department. And then you find yourself riding defensively instead of fluidly, which your horse, of course, is picking up on all of that stuff. So then your horse is going to be like, oh, we're at a show and my owner is absolutely crapping their pants. Therefore, I need to crap my pants. It's not a recipe for success, is it? It's not a recipe for calm, grounded partnership. Now, the important thing to remember here, taking all of that into account, is this isn't a lack of skill or knowledge or ability on your part. It is just dysregulation. And my God, do I wish more people would learn about this and actually implement the things that I'm about to talk about, and what we work on when you work with me, because life would be so different and competitions certainly would be different. And so I'd like you to just remember that, this is a fairly simple thing actually that can be sorted if you actually just pay attention to it instead of just trying to bury it and ignore it, which of course is something that I will always shout from the rooftops. So now, having told you about all of this stuff, and you probably might be listening to this and nodding along and thinking, yes, that's me. Oh my God, I'm in the toilet every 5 minutes. Oh my God, I act defensively. And yes, I now see why and hear why. I'm doing these things. Here are some things I want you to use now moving forward that are going to help you change and shift that now that you're aware of it. And now you kind of understand why this stuff happens. So, number one, change the meanings of nerves. Now, this is a really cool little tip, piece of knowledge and nuance in what is going on physiologically for you. And I will tell you a little story in relation to this in a moment. So generally what happens before you go in to do your test or you're in the warm-up pen, and this is what used to happen to me, is you would feel that feeling in your body where you've got adrenaline flying around, potentially a little bit of cortisol, and that feeling in your body is your body prepping you, okay? Now, in that moment, it is your choice, it is a choice for you to think, oh my God, I'm nervous. Oh my God, if I'm nervous, then I'm not going to be able to. What I used to think was, this feeling in my body means I'm not going to be able to control my body and do what I need to do to execute the pattern or stay on the horse if anything goes wrong. Now, the alternative, because these feelings are the exact same if you're excited or if you're nervous, okay? Exact same thing going on in your body. You can choose to instead think, this is activation. My body's prepping me. I'm excited about this. Let's go, okay? It's the exact same feeling in your body, but it's up to your mind to choose where you are directing that energy, the literal energy that's in your body. Because you can't eliminate adrenaline. You can't. But you can choose where you direct it. Okay. So I used to compete a lot. I'm looking at I've got my blue rosettes because I went through a stage of winning a lot until I didn't. I was doing really well. I was really good at getting in the arena and it was the best feeling, just getting in the zone, just locking in, doing what I needed to do. Oh my God, what a feeling. I just loved it. Until one day, a friend of mine, because I'd always been like, no, I don't want anybody coming to watch, like friends, family. And then finally I let a friend come and watch. And I went in to do my pattern. I write about this in the book. I went in to do my pattern. I stopped to get started. I looked up I saw my friend in the stands. Okay. And then it all went to shit, basically. I totally got in my head. I forgot how many times, because I had to do, in raining patterns, you do a certain amount of spins at some point. This pattern in particular, I had to do a certain amount of spins to the left and then a certain amount of spins to the right. And I totally forgot how many I'd done. And I can't remember. I either overspun or underspun at one point. So I went off pattern. So if you were doing dressage, you went off the dressage test. And so that meant I'd zeroed. Now, obviously, I didn't know I'd zeroed till the end. Anyway, executed the rest of the pattern, and then at the end found out I'd zeroed because I'd gone off. And then after that, every single time I went to compete, I went off pattern. I got so in my head. It was unbelievable. And so what started happening was, rather than being in the warm-up pen and being in the zone, and just being like, right, off I go, and just, like in the zone, I would be in the warm-up pen and I would have that feeling in my body and I would be like, oh my God, I'm nervous. Oh my God, this is going to go wrong. Now, I then at that time started getting into freestyle reining, which is basically like dressage to music, but for reining. And because the kind of pressure, you still had to do all the things in the pattern, but you chose the order that you did them in. And so kind of the pressure was off a bit and it was so much fun. And I so loved doing the fancy dress stuff and having the music and everything that I started getting that amazing feeling back again. And so I would be riding around in the warm-up pen and I would be excited. Exact same feeling in my body, but my brain was choosing excitement because I was excited to go in and ride around to the music. I was excited to be, flying around in a silly costume and, I'd found that feeling again. And that was the difference, was the choosing of what my direction was for this energy. It was excitement. And you can do the same. So next time you're in the warm-up pen, and you're like, oh, feeling this feeling, think, this is actually my body activating me to go do the thing. And I'm excited to go do the thing. I'm excited to show off our partnership. So yeah, try that. Okay, shift number 2, anchor into the present. So again, we want to distract the mind and the body and redirect that kind of nervous energy. And you can do that by becoming aware of your environment. And there's always a lot to see at a show. So wherever you are, I want you to think about 5 things you can see. Name 5 things you can see. So in your head or out loud, it's up to you. So it might be, I can see the picture ahead of me. I can see my laptop. I can see my candle. I can see my microphone. I can see my cup of tea. I've now forgotten how many times. I can see my notebook. Okay, 3 things you can hear. So you can hear the birds. You can hear people riding around in the warm-up. You can hear your horse breathing or something. And then a physical sensation. So I can feel my horse breathing underneath me or something. All of those things ground you, bring you back to your body and helps your nervous system to calm. Okay. Number 3, pre-competition identity reset. So before you get on your horse, ask yourself, who am I choosing to be today? Who am I choosing to be? So here's I don't want you to think this, but just as an example, I'm not choosing to be someone who is going to poo their pants every 3 seconds and overthink. I'm not going to be someone who's worrying about everyone else. I'm not going to be someone who is worried that my horse is going to buck, say. So who am I choosing to be today? I'm choosing to be someone who is excited to be here. I'm choosing to be someone who's proud of what I've worked on with my horse. I'm choosing to be someone that's excited to go and have fun with my horse. Tap into that. Who are you choosing to be? Who do you want to be when you go compete? And tap into that instead of all the things you don't want, or just kind of unconsciously being the person that you don't want to be. So that is, really quickly, change the meaning of your nerves. So remember, this is activation. My body's preparing. Number 2, anchor into the present moment. So 5 things you can see, 3 things you can hear, maybe a physical sensation. 3, ask yourself, who do you want to be today? I want to be a calm, focused person with my horse who is excited to go compete. Now, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, I should really be over this now, maybe you feel embarrassed about being nervous. Please don't feel embarrassed, because it basically happens to everyone. Or if you've been riding for years and years and suddenly now you're nervous about competing, or like me, you just had one flipping experience that then totally destroyed your competition season, please know that this does not mean you are incapable. It doesn't mean you shouldn't be competing. It doesn't mean you should quit it. All it means is that you need a bit of support, because you can totally change it and you can totally be that person who goes out and competes and flipping loves it again, because we are actually supposed to enjoy it. I can't get over the amount of people that go and compete and flipping hate it, or spend the whole time feeling sick, etc. Because you don't need to feel like that. You don't need to feel like that. You can actually enjoy it again. So if this is you, if competitions are stealing your joy rather than giving you joy, if maybe you practice it all at home and it's all amazing, and then you get somewhere out in the public and suddenly you can't bloody remember your left from right, etc. This is why I put together my competition package, because it's especially for people that compete and want to actually enjoy it again. So in there, we've got nervous system regulation tools. We've got hypnotherapy that's going to help you totally rewire the responses that you've been having to competing. We're going to be looking at your identity when you compete. I'm going to be giving you recordings, personalized recordings to you, your horse, and the competition that you are competing in, that you can take away and use on competition days. So you actually have like a little toolkit when you need it. And also a like competition day strategy PDF thing, again, totally tailored to you. So you've got then the tools, you've been rewired, and you have the tools to use at shows from now on and forever. Then you want to tap into this, because if you want the season to feel different this year, if you don't want to just manage it and flip and survive it, you want to actually enjoy it, and you want to feel empowered, and you want to step into the ring feeling proud, and then step out again feeling proud, head to either the link in my bio on the socials, or I'll put my email down below in the show notes. Send me an email saying comp, and I'll email you the details, and we will get you started, because honestly, we're meant to enjoy competing, people. And if you're not, then get in touch, because I'd love to help you enjoy it again, because yeah, we spend too much money on this stuff to not enjoy it also. And how nice would it be to actually, like, we're so proud of the partnership that we have with our horses. The whole point of showing is you are showing off the partnership you have with your horse. It's not about winning. It's not about rosettes, although that's kind of a nice thing to do. Ultimately, it's about being the best person you can be with your horse as a partnership. And if you're not able to show up like that because you're too busy on the loo or feeling sick or shouting at everyone, then let's change that. I hope today's episode was helpful. I hope you've got something good out of it. And I will see you for another one next week. Over and out.